Greetings, adventurers. This is DM Kurt. This is kind of a redo of a video I tried to do last week. And I had to take it down. So, last Tuesday we started our first full campaign of Castles and Crusades. We did a one-shot using the Castles and Crusades rule system and the Thundar the Barbarian Beneath a Shattered Moon campaign setting. And group had a blast. I mean, it was fun to run. Everybody was really getting into it. And I figured, okay, the fun here is coming off the campaign setting, not off of the rules system. But it proved itself to be a functional rule system that we can do. Now, what I'm running is, of course, Castles and Crusades. You notice anything about this book? Well, it's kind of an homage to the first edition Player's Handbook. That is not a mistake. So the Chenault brothers, they played with, they gamed with, they worked with, and wrote with Gary Gygax in the Castles and Crusades Society, and from which they named their company, Troll Lord Games and the Castles and Crusades game. Okay, so it comes off of first edition, and it has a very old school vibe to it. Now I'm running a game, and we're going to be very, I'm going to try to be a little more old school. We're not going to have some of the really weird and silly character classes and archetypes and such of 5e. But my pitch to the party was, you're all going to play as members of an orc tribe. You're going to be orcs and orc adjacent. So this would be orcs, half-orcs, goblins. There'll be maybe a couple of bugbears and maybe even an ogre that's hanging around the village. And you're all members of the village up in the mountains far from the coast. They all signed on for that. They seemed excited for it. And I looked in the Player's Handbook. Yes, there is a half-orc playable race. Cool. Looked in the Castle Keeper's Guide. There's an orc playable race, and it sucks. It's just garbage. So I rewrote something else. Make them very tenacious, aggressive, strong, not too bright. Okay, cool. Made up some goblins, bugbears, ogres. Okay, we have everything we need. Nobody chose to play a bugbear, and that's good because I ended up tweaking the rules on that anyway. The bugbears in this setting, they're a little bit psychotic, and get a +1 to hit with weapons. You know, they're very psychotic and aggressive. Okay, but anyway, you're all members of this tribe up in the mountains. This region is primarily orcs, humans, and half-orcs. The orcs live in the mountains. The humans live in the cities. Half-orcs live wherever they want, but they tend to be towards the grasslands in the central plain. So there have been such a lengthy history of the orcs and humans living in this region that half-orcs are the literal third most populous race. And if you walk into any village and look around, it might be hard to tell where one species and the next ends and the other begins. It's just, they've been just in this region cohabitating. You know, squabbles happen, a few pitched battles have happened here and there, but overall, you know, they've been there. They've always been there. 40 years ago, hobgoblins came as a massive organized army. Well, not so massive that the combined inhabitants couldn't force them back. The siege weaponry, the guerrilla tactics, combining to push out the invaders. So there's a little bit more cohesive, you know, you guys helped us out, you know, kind of thing going there. Groovy. Elves. There are some elves in this setting, very few. They're tall, they're thin, they're fast running. They are basically the desert elves of Athos. They subsist on banditry. They don't bother with farming and a little bit of hunter-gathering and basically raiding. So it's wood elves taken to like the next step. Okay? Dwarves. No dwarves in this setting. Not native. No halflings or gnomes in this setting. Not native. You do have a coastline, coastal cities, and some of the coastal towns may have a few of those folks who have rolled in on a ship and decided to get off and make their living in the cities of the coast. Okay, that's your setting. The party was given a task. We have two main crops. The orcs discovered that some of the plants growing in the mountains are actually kind of valuable to others. They have silphium and yucca. So I have declared that the unflowered buds of the yucca plant can be used as a spell component for something. They flower. They bloom twice a year. They're not super valuable, but it's a little something they get that they can make a little money off of. Taking those, pick them, put them in a bag, take them to town. But the big crop is silphium. You can look that up. Silphium. So that's the big one. That's the big cash crop. That's useful for spell components or potion brewing of some kind. So we bundled all that up, and Chief Gamoku said, okay, you guys, he kind of points randomly, just happens to be the PCs. Bundle this, okay, we got all this stuff bundled. You guys take it to the village over there. Some trader merchant guy named Redcoat Johnny will be there, and he'll probably offer you about 20 pounds of silver for this much. Go. And so the party traipses off with their 2-pack mules. Okay. They get down off the mountain and go through a little bit of scrub forest. And the first thing they encounter is a trench. It runs perpendicular to their path. It is 30 foot wide, 10 foot deep, flat bottomed, and there's like a 5-foot berm on either side of the cast off soil. Can we go around it? Well, it goes, it's huge. It goes basically as far as the eye can see, although about a mile that way, there's a little bit of smoke coming up. Oh, what kind of smoke? Is it wood smoke? Okay, you got some guys with some sensitive sniffers. No, it's not quite wood smoke. It has a sharp, acrid smell to it. Okay. So they negotiate how they're going to get the pack mules down, up, and over without breaking a mule's leg. You're getting it, they're relatively sure-footed, but they're also heavily laden. So it's okay, we send over a guy with a rope, and we take off the stuff, and we get lead them all up, and the ogre will push the mule, and all this stuff. Okay, there's XP. You guys did problem solving. Not a lot of XP, but I'm counting off XP. These little things all add up. They say, okay, we're going to send a couple of us who are sneaky over to go scout that out. Okay, you get up that way, and there is either a large wagon or a small house in the trench, right at the end of the trench. And there's a bunch of short humans, very burly and hairy and short humans, operating this machine thing that's doing something, and it looks like it's digging this trench as you go. And the party has said, oh, they're making Roman roads. That was their conclusion. Okay, cool. And I asked, okay, what are you going to do? We're going to just stay back, watch what they're doing, determine that they're, the machine's kind of moving forward very slowly, and it's kicking dirt up. And they head back. They don't tell me that they're investigating the trench at all. Okay, cool. So I don't give them any more details on the trench. They head off. They get a ways. End up in the first village where they're supposed to meet their contact. The village has been pretty much burnt down. They're supposed to meet in this tavern. Tavern's mostly burnt down. Investigate the charred wreckage of the building. Yeah, there's a number of bodies, including a body of a man in a red coat, whose coat is singed. Well, we search his body. Cool. There appears to be pretty much nothing on him. Now, if he was your merchant, he would have had a lot of money. he has, not a coin on the body. Oh, okay. And that's where we ended the session. Okay, you did search the body, and you looked around. They determined that the reason the merchant had died was not smoke inhalation. It was probably this hole that went right straight through his head. And they found a matching hole in the wall. And they found a big lead pellet of some kind. There are no guns in the setting as of yet. I said, well, it must have been somebody with a powerful sling or something, Because at first, a hole through the guy's head's like, yeah, it must have had like a spear or something, really strong guy or something. Okay, nope, it's not that. It's this fast lead ball. Could be a guy with a magic sling. Who knows? We had to end the session there. What happened? Who killed Redcoat Johnny? And who's going to buy your stuff? Because this is your main cash crop for the year. End of session. On Discord, they're talking about, well, we should find out who did it, but if we hang around here, we might get the blame. And this crop's going to wilt at some point. We need to get it to somewhere. And they've decided, hey, if they go towards the coast, they can find more villages, maybe get all the way to the capital city, and find some more merchants who are willing to buy their product. And at which point, they have their bags of silver, and they head straight back. And I do say silver, because what we're doing is we're using the standard character generation of everybody gets however much die roll of gold per character based on character class. Now, the martial characters get more gold, but it is expected they're probably going to want to buy some armor. So that's straight out of 1E. Okay, but we're on the silver standard. So any coins not spent are going to be, the gold turns into silver. That's the rule that's going to happen there. And before they convert 10 to 1, it's 1 to 1. 1 gold becomes 1 silver. We want to deflate this currency, so we're operating at a much more grounded level. Now, if your 15 gold just turned into 15 silver, is the longsword that's in Player's Handbook going to still cost 15 gold? No, it'll be 15 silver. So we're just straight devaluating 1 to 1, 10 to 1. That's for stuff manufactured locally. Certain kinds of stuff is going to be manufactured locally. Obscure and exotic weapons have to come from further away because the locals just don't know how to make those weird things. They make the stuff they know how to make. So some of those will still be up at the slightly higher price. Yes, this is to keep adventurers from hauling around these hoards of gold and having nothing to do with that money. They have a lot to think about, and I'm pretty happy with the way the first session went. I expect this will go quite well, but we'll see. But have a good feeling about it. Tim Kurt, out.